If you're over 50 and dealing with joint pain, whether it's the kind that creeps in quietly in the morning or the kind that starts nagging you halfway through the day, there's a good chance someone has told you to stop eating tomatoes. Maybe a neighbor said it. Maybe a family member swears their arthritis flares up every time they eat pasta with marinara. Or maybe you stumbled across a headline online claiming tomatoes are inflammatory or even toxic for the joints. And if you paused for a moment and wondered, wait, could something as simple and delicious as a tomato really be causing my knees or hands to hurt? Well, you're not alone. I hear this every single week from patients my age and older, and today, I want to tell you the truth, honestly, clearly, without fear-mongering, and I want to do it from the perspective of someone who has seen this myth spread for decades. Let me start with something surprising. Tomatoes do not inherently trigger joint pain for the vast majority of people. I know this goes against so many stories you may have heard, but stories as powerful as they are not science. And I want to give you something better today. Not just facts, but clarity. Because when you understand what's really going on, you gain something more valuable than knowledge. You gain control. Now, before we go deeper, let me tell you something personal. I'm in my 50s now. My joints are not the same as they were when I was 30, and that's fine. Life leaves its marks on all of us. But like many of you, I had mornings when I'd get out of bed and feel that little pinch in my lower back. Or I'd hear that quiet click in my knees when going down the stairs. And I remember thinking, is it something I'm eating? Is this just age catching up with me? That's why this topic matters to me, not just as a doctor, but as someone who understands the day-to-day. It's a reality of aging. So here's the truth. Tomatoes belong to a family of plants called nightshades, the same group as potatoes, bell peppers, and eggplant. Nightshades contain compounds called alkaloids, and one of them, solanine, gets blamed for joint pain. That's where the myth started. Someone hears alkaloid and thinks dangerous chemical. But let's break this down simply. Solanine in edible nightshades is present in extremely low amounts, far below the level needed to cause inflammation in humans. In fact, you would need to eat an unrealistic amount of raw, unripe nightshades to even approach a level that could irritate your system. Most humans never come close. Yet myths stick when they have a tiny grain of truth. And here's the grain. Some people do react to nightshades not because they're toxic, but because each body is unique. If your immune system or gut is sensitive, even normal foods can trigger discomfort. For example, I have a patient who has no problem eating tomatoes, but cucumbers make her joints stiff. Another patient reacts to pineapple. Another to processed bread. Our bodies are not machines. They're ecosystems. And sometimes ecosystems have quirks. So the real question is not, are tomatoes bad? It's, how does your body respond to tomatoes? And that's where the conversation becomes empowering. Before we explore that, let me explain why tomatoes can actually help with joint pain for many seniors. And this is the part that surprises people. Tomatoes are one of the richest sources of lycopene, an antioxidant that helps reduce oxidative stress, the internal rusting that contributes to joint degeneration, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. Lycopene becomes even more powerful when tomatoes are cooked in olive oil, which is why dishes like homemade tomato sauce can actually support joint health rather than harm it. Imagine that your favorite pasta sauce might be helping your knees more than hurting them. Tomatoes are also loaded with vitamins A and C, which help maintain collagen, the protein that cushions your joints. They have potassium, which helps reduce fluid retention and bloating around the joints. When you look at the whole nutritional picture, tomatoes are not the villain. If anything, they're closer to a hero. But this is important time, not here to dismiss your lived experience. If you're watching this and thinking, but doctor, every time I eat tomatoes, I feel worse, then I want you to honor that feeling. I believe in science, but I also believe in your body's wisdom. Here's where we bring both together. There are 3 main reasons why some seniors think tomatoes cause their joint pain, even when tomatoes are not the actual problem. And once you understand these, you might get the clarity you've been searching for. First, food combination effects. A tomato rarely comes alone. Most people eat tomatoes with pasta, cheese, bread, or pizza. And what do all these foods have in common? They spike blood sugar and trigger inflammation, especially in those of us over 50 whose insulin response isn't as young as it used to be. So when someone eats lasagna and their hands hurt the next day, the brain blames the most colorful ingredient, the tomato, when the real issue was the refined carbs, the saturated fat, or the salt. Second, hidden sodium. Canned tomato soups, pasta sauces, ketchup, these products often contain more sodium than your joints can handle. High sodium increases water retention, and when your body retains water, inflammation goes up. Not because of tomatoes, but because of the salt paired with them. Fresh tomatoes rarely cause this issue. Third, gut sensitivity. As we age, our gut lining becomes more delicate. If someone has mild leaky gut, IBS, or food sensitivities, tomatoes, because they're acidic, may temporarily worsen symptoms. But that's a gut issue, not a joint issue. And when the gut is irritated, inflammation spreads throughout the body, sometimes settling in the joints. So again, tomatoes play a supporting role, not the leading role. Let me give you an example. I had an older patient, we'll call her Linda, who loved tomatoes, but believed they triggered her arthritis. She avoided salads. She skipped pizza parties with her grandchildren, and she was convinced tomatoes were her enemy. Until we did a simple experiment. I had her eat a fresh tomato with olive oil and basil, just that, nothing else. No bread, no pasta, no cheese. And guess what? Nothing happened. No flare, no swelling, no pain. A week later, she tried tomato sauce on grilled vegetables. Still no pain. It was only when tomatoes were paired with refined carbs that she felt discomfort. For years, she had blamed the wrong thing. And when she understood what her body was actually reacting to, she regained a piece of her life she had given up. Now, if you want to test your own tomato tolerance, here's something simple and practical you can do. For the next 7 days, remove all processed foods that contain tomatoes, ketchup, canned soups, jarred sauces, and eat only fresh tomatoes in small amounts. Notice how your body feels. Then add cooked tomatoes, then a bit of sauce made at home. If at any stage you feel worse, that's your answer. But if you feel fine, then tomatoes are not your trigger. You can enjoy them without fear. And if you find that tomatoes do cause discomfort, even fresh ones, then you can work with your body instead of against it. For some seniors, removing tomatoes for 30 days calms down the gut enough to allow reintroduction without issues. Others benefit from adding anti-inflammatory foods alongside tomatoes like turmeric, ginger, extra virgin olive oil, leafy greens, or fatty fish. The goal is not to eliminate foods you love, but to build a lifestyle where your joints feel supported every day. And if you're wondering, so what should I do today, right now? Here's my best advice, as both a doctor and someone who wants you to enjoy your meals, not fear them. Don't make major decisions based on fear or online myths. Make them based on your experience and your body's feedback. And if you're going to make one small change starting today, make it this. Add one natural anti-inflammatory habit into your daily routine, maybe a cup of warm turmeric tea, a handful of berries, a tablespoon of olive oil, or a short morning walk. These small habits do far more for your joints than avoiding tomatoes ever will. And if you want to go even deeper, try this simple, natural approach that has helped so many of my patients. Start each morning with 1 glass of warm water, a squeeze of lemon, and a pinch of ginger. It wakes up your digestion, calms inflammation, and supports your joints from the inside out. It's the kind of natural solution that works quietly but powerfully over time. So should seniors with joint pain avoid tomatoes? For most people, the answer is a clear and confident no. Tomatoes are nutritious, beneficial, and deeply woven into the joy of eating. But if your body is giving you a different message, listen to it, because your health journey is not one size fits all. At the end of the day, my goal is not to tell you what to fear, but to help you discover what strengthens you. And if you found even one piece of clarity here today, then I hope you'll take the next step. Try the natural habits. Observe your body and reclaim your freedom to enjoy the foods you love without worry. Your joints deserve relief, and you deserve confidence. And both are absolutely possible.